there on the far line, and my meat lines are going to be inside, because at the end of the day I can't fish pellets everywhere because I have no bait.
No.
So all I would doing is probably put 1/3 of a big pot in to start with, of meat. As you can see, it's 1/3 of a big pot, and I would just put that, and I would mark my spot. Now I always pick an object in front of me, usually in front of me in this case, in case the pull changes. So I'll go straight out. I'd put my elbow on the end of the pole to mark my pole, pick my target, which is that little bush over there, and I would just lower it into the way I would be fishing and holding the pole. And I'd just tip it straight in as quickly. I wouldn't do it from a distance. A lot of people I see, they drop it from a distance, the bait. But what that does, it brings the fish up, and I don't want that on this particular line, I want them on the bottom. So I like to think that I'm sneaking it in past them so that they come up and follow the bait down onto the bottom. Okay. So I've marked my spot at 2+2. Because on the inside I like to throw bait if I can. But to start with, I'd always put a bit in a pot and just mark the spot where I'm going to be throwing it to. So I'd put a little bit in, just probably 1/4 pot, and I put it down the side on the line I'm going to be fishing, pick my marker down there, and I just lower it in. Exactly the same that side as well. So I've fed both sides. Yeah. It's weird when you fish both sides. You don't always catch both sides, but you don't know which side you're going to catch. So I always cover both options. Okay. After that, what I'll be doing, to feed the inside, I like to throw it then. I like to throw it because it makes a noise and it brings the fish in. It spreads it out a little bit more, and I like to throw it in the inside. The 2+2 line, what I like to do is I don't always throw it in early. What I'll probably do is put the tip down, pick it up and cup it in every 15-20 minutes and keep cupping a little bit in. But sometimes to get the fish into your peg, and sometimes when you want to get out of jail, you can just pick it up and just throw it in like that, and it makes a little bit of a noise to draw fish in. So I have to decide where I'm going to be doing that. When I'm catching a lot of fish, I like to throw it onto that line and make a noise, and gets down. Right. So although I'm contradicting myself by I don't do it with a big pot, I want it to go down, I want all the bait on the bottom. But when I want to draw the fish in, I have to make a noise because the fish respond to noise. How do you regulate your bait? Because there's obviously a real danger here when people start catching on that line that they can suddenly use all the bait. I mean, you need to be ever so careful. You've got to be very careful. I mean, what most people do is they might have that lot into 2 pints and say, right, for the first 2 hours I'm going to use that, and for the next 2 hours I'm going to use that. And that's the only way you've got to do it. You just get that point. I feel I've got used to how to regulate it. But if you're in doubt, then just put it in separate pots. Okay. As simple as that, really. And you started off. And I've got my lines going now. And then the next thing I did, I just picked the method feeder rod up. And all I did, I started fishing on that. I put a banded pellet on. I just use the Fin Perfect. That's the hard 6 mil, the hard one. I put a hard one to start with. Yeah. And on my tray I've got others ready in case to find out what hook bait that they want. And I know there's various ways of loading these method feeders up now. I mean, for many years people just did it by hand. The old-fashioned way. The Andy Findlay way. And now most people have sort of switched over to using these method moulds. Well, we've got these lovely moulds now that make life simpler, easy, and anybody can do it in different sizes. You can use them in different sizes, and I used one that day. There's different ways of using it. If you want the bait on the top, if I'm not catching a lot of fish, I like to bury the bait, and if I'm catching lots of fish very quickly, I like to have the bait on the top. So if I want the bait on the top, I always put my hook bait in first, so it's going to be on the top. Then I put the pellets on the top. You just fill that level. Just fill it level, press it, lift it because it's got a quick release on the bottom like that, and you take it out, and it's perfect. It's just, I mean, what's simpler than that? It's a coconut every time. But the nice thing is, my hook bait is on the top. Yeah. So as soon as that hits the water, it's the first thing that the fish see it. Yeah. But if I want it buried, and I want it a little bit inside, and I found that this is the best way, and most times this is what I do. I actually get the mould, I put a few pellets in first, just level them out. You sort of half filled it there? Yeah, just sort of half filled it. I don't want to put too many because I don't want the hook bait to go in the rims of the feeder. I then put the pellet on the top, make sure it's comfortable. The main thing is take your time and get it right. And then put the pellets on the top again. Method, press it, release it on the bottom. Perfect, isn't it? You can't see the hook bait, that's absolutely perfect. And if you want, and you can actually give it if you want another little squeeze. Sometimes you can, but that's just a perfect mould. The nice thing about that is you've always got the same weight, the same consistency of bait on it, so it's always going in the same direction. And it just makes life simple. And then all you do, you pick your rod up, pick your target, and you cast it out, you pick your spot. It's gone in. Put your pole tip under the water, don't move it, you mustn't move it now, and just pull it like that. And it took about 20 seconds for my first bite. I just pulled it.
Touched ledge.
When almost, I'm just waiting for the line to sink, but you mustn't move it from that far ledge, that's so important. And then when you've done it, you just put it on your rod rest, put it like that.
So did everybody start on method that day?
Everybody started on the method, everybody. I don't tighten up, I just slacken it off and leave it reasonably slack, just keep moving things. A lot of people, when
there's an indication straight away.
Straight at it straight away. See, I'd caught one by now on that match. I was actually playing a fish by now, and I actually had 15 in the first hour, and I kept them in one net, and they weighed 50 pounds. So that gives you some idea of the first hour. But all the time while that were happening, I was feeding my other lines like that. My hands are free. That's a fish. Just pick up and wind it in.
It's not a bad start again,
Not
is it?
a bad start, would it really? And just take your time. It goes that way, turn it round, and pull it away from the far bank gently.
Good fish?
Yeah, it's a good fish, 4-pounder.
Notice you always keep the rod low while you bring it back in.
Yeah, I think it's important. I see too many people doing that winding fishing, and I think when they're doing that, they're trying to get their head up and the fish is fighting. I like to keep the rod low, and once it starts swimming, you just keep winding until you get it close inside. If it goes to your right, just put the rod over to the left and turn it until it's very, very close, or as close as it can come. And when you think it's close, you can pick your landing net handle up then, pick it up, and then you're ready to net the fish.
That rod's very forgiving, isn't it?
It's very good. And the fish I'm playing now is always around in the side. I'm always in control of the fish. Then when it's ready for netting, under.
Excellent. Well done, mate. Excellent start.
It's as simple as that, really. The most important thing I find is you've got to keep it in the right spot and be patient and not move the feeder. Because the fish, I think, come to the noise, come to the splash. I think that's got a lot to do with it. All you do is take your time and set it up. One of the mistakes people make, Dave, they rush everything. They don't take the time with everything. And all I did then, I just got an hard pellet, I put it on the band, like that. And I like the hook as close as I can to the pellet.
That's interesting, that, because you quite often see people with really long hair.
Yeah, no, I don't. I like it as close as I possibly can.
We've got off to another good start again today, mate.
Yeah, it's solid, isn't it?
It's a good peg, isn't it, this?
Well, it is. There's a lot of fish in it, Dave. And that day, it was just, first hour, I just couldn't get in quick enough. And it was absolutely black. I had 50 at first hour, and they weighed 50 pounds. And I caught 49 carp and 4 skimmers, and I weighed 161 pounds.
Fantastic.
I picked the pole up 3 times during the day, and I had 2 skimmers on it. And as soon as I caught the skimmers, I put it back down. I put the rods back down and picked the method up. Biggest problem when I run out of bait, because I only had 2 pints of them pellets.
Of course, yeah.
I had no more. If I'd got 3 pints, I would have definitely had 200 pounds. I would have caught 200 pounds of fish. I just run out of bait, and that was the problem. But that's how it goes.
And the nice thing, of course, you'd covered your options. You'd got a plan B and you'd got a plan C.
Exactly. And that's what you have to do. But what I didn't do, I didn't have too many spots that I was going to fish. You know, I tried to make them work, and this on the day were the right thing to do. And I caught a lovely day's fish, 161 pounds, second it section, and put me in a chance of winning at festival, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, that's been a fascinating insight into Tom's match. I hope you've enjoyed the session as much as I have. I'm coming back here again tomorrow, where I'm going to be joined by Des Ship, and all right, that'll be another interesting day as well. See you tomorrow.